Newly formed tropical storm Francine was named in the Gulf of Mexico this morning. The storm is expected to gradually strengthen over the next few days and likely become a hurricane before it reaches the Gulf Coast on Wednesday. Parts of Louisiana are under a hurricane watch. The city of Baton Rouge is also in the path of the storm. Today, that city's mayor called on people to make a plan, prepare a disaster kit, and check on their neighbors.
Our city parish officials and first responders are already taking action. We are clearing storm drains and basins to reduce the risk of flooding and replenishing our stock of sand and sandbags to help residents protect their homes.
Francine is the sixth system of this season.